Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first review for The Evil Within. This is a game developed by Tango Gameworks, headed by former Capcom alum Shinji Mikami, and it's produced by Bethesda. Well, Tango's not very well known, but Bethesda is for making, Skyrim games. So, let's get down to it. I'm going to make a lot of Resident Evil comparisons because of Shinji Mikami's work on those games. So, let's start first with the story. Story in Evil Within is interesting. It's kind of a mix between Resident Evil, fucking The Cell, 90s J-Lo movie, Inception, and Shutter Island. All had a weird fucking goober baby. It's not great. It's not fleshed out enough, but the foundation is very strong. They do a lot of weird, kind of like mind tricks, and those really pay off in the story. Everything they do inside the mind, and even your hub point where you have this nurse that looks after you, that's all very well done. All the stuff that's meant to trip you out is all very well done. Whereas the actual nuts and bolts of the story, why people are doing things, why people are involved, that all kind of falls flat. But then again, Resident Evil never really had a strong story, and I think that kind of translates directly into this game, where it wasn't necessarily a priority. Onto graphics. The game looks alright. It's kind of got a grainy filter on. It's graphically better than what they did, or what Shinji Mikami did, because the last Resident Evil game he did, or the style of game he did, was Resident Evil 4. It almost looks like just a polished up version of Resident Evil 4, both in respects to third person view and camera, which is not a diss, by the way, because that game was pretty much immaculate. And even character models just kind of look up-res. The part where it gets in trouble is some points there's just an awful lot of pop-ins, and it happens way too frequently, just having that many texture pop-ins. And if you are somebody that finds that really, really ugly, this game might bother you. However, apart from that, the design of the game, it looks good. The villages look very, very good and are well designed, especially the first one that they let you kind of explore as its own little tiny village, kind of like an arena. And they let you go into each house, and it's very, very good. Down to the designs, well, the design of the characters. My biggest problem with that is, apart from the main antagonist, Ruvik, the characters could be plucked from this game into any other game pretty much ever. Kidman, who is... You play Detective Sebastian Castellanos. You and your junior detectives are called into a mass murder, and that's pretty much the story, until it gets complicated. And those characters, the main detective, could pretty much be plucked and put anywhere. Kidman just looks like generic female number 3, and Joseph, he's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You could pluck him and put him in any game either. They're not necessarily iconic characters, and they're not gonna be. We didn't grow up remembering them, but they don't have enough personality or flair to them to where I think that you're going to remember them. However, the villain, and this is what they do kind of right with the story, is that he's a little bit more fleshed out. He looks like angsty young Frankenstein type thing. Fucking, it's like evil Neo with Frankenstein DNA, and they do a better job with his story because I mean essentially the game's about him. They don't. It's not perfect, but they do a much better job explaining why this guy's angry and why he's a crazy person and why he's trying to torment you, I guess. Now, where this game really shines is in its gameplay. Okay, first let me talk about the upgrade system. The upgrade system is really, really good. You go around and as you kill stuff and just explore, and the game does a really good job of rewarding you for going off the beaten path, crushing every object compulsively, and just finding this delicious green goo. And the green goo acts as your experience. And you harness the power of the green goo to upgrade your person, like how much health you have, how much run speed you have, and also, your melee ability, your guns especially. And let me get to that. Guns in this game and shooting in this game feels incredibly good. All the guns, down to your pistol, to your magnum, and especially this game is very unique in the fact that it has a bitchin' crossbow. You have a harpoon shot, which is delightfully awesome to use. You have a shock shot, an explosive shot, freezing shot. The list goes on. But you can use these shots, except for the harpoon shot, as either direct ammunition, or you could set up traps. And it adds a very, very deep level to the game. And not to mention, it's just very, very fun to use. All the guns are pretty fun to use. I mean, pistol standard, can't really do much with the pistol. Shotgun feels really good. I don't think there's a machine gun unless you beat the game. But all the guns just feel very, very, very good. And the shooting feels very good. Not to mention, on top of just the third person gunplay, which is good, you have the ability to use stealth kills, which is fun, and you have the ability to pick up objects in, as you're walking around, like a glass bottle, a brick, and you could use those in an aggressive way. Like if you hit enemies in the head, you can do an instant kill, which feels A, more skillful, and B, just more satisfying than, popping somebody in the head in Resident Evil 4 and then just doing a little, give them a little sweet chin music. So what this game does really, really well is, like I was saying, the gunplay. Actually enjoying the game that you're playing. The bosses feel good and varied. Just shooting stuff is a joy. What I would say the game really needs to work on, or needed to work on, or if they were going to make a sequel, what they could implement better, is they need to focus their direction on story. Because I'm not sure why I would want, you get little snippets of the story, but you don't really ever come off, feeling for Sebastian or Kidman or any of the characters, really. I mean, they do a decent job with Ruvik, but again, even the decent job that they do with him, they don't give him enough screen time to be cool. What the game or what do I want with this game going forward, or what it's just generally missing. After all is said and done, and again, I'm going to reference Resident Evil 4 here, because this game is, I think this game is missing something very key, in that I think that they should have toned down, I guess, a little bit of the action and made it scarier, like give you more freaky trip out scenes during the gameplay, but then give you this mode, kind of like Mercenaries mode for Resident Evil 4, 5. Give you that to just let you just go nuts on the combat, because there's no, like, after you're done with the game you can play through the game again, but there's no really like arcadey thing that'll just make you pop in the CD all the time and just play it and play it and play it, or have, you know, co-op in an arcade type fashion where you rack up the most kills on the most zombies, or fight this boss together. I think stuff like that, where Resident Evil went wrong, is they implemented that through the core of the game. You know, they've kind of forced it down your throat with RE5 and RE6, whereas I think that should just be a separate thing altogether, either a survival mode or fight your way through checkpoint A to checkpoint B, or just an arena, rack up all the kills. So, my final score for The Evil Within, it may have sounded like I was talking down about this game. I love this game. It's a great game. I would give it an 8.8.